Hi guys, how's it going? My name is Evan, one of your mods from Littleroot Lessons, and I'm also the league coordinator for LML, our Littleroot Multi-Battle League. And this is our week 3 recap, and I'm just so thankful for all 50 of us playing in the league. Currently we have 19 teams, but it's going to dwindle down to 18 teams. But all I just want to say is I'm so thankful for everyone to get who are participating to get your matches in on time, even before the end of Sunday. So yeah, I just cannot express how thankful I am. Like everything is running so smoothly, and then now we are jumping into our week 4 matches. Then we have 9 matches to recap for you guys, and same as last week, here with me I have Joe, also known as Pokert on the Discord. Yo,
Hello.
hello. That's all.
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Joe's part of the Las Vegas Primarinas, whom we will see are tearing the competition right now. Even if someone else had a 6-0 victory, their score is still way above everyone else's. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, and KS is in chat. KS is Pokert's teammate. And recently they acquired a very friendly fellow called Papi Kantan. Okay, so
Yay.
as usual, we'll be going through the matches, and I'll try my best to do a play-by-play so that you guys don't have to like watch every single match to try and catch up. Then you can generally see what each team does and then how they operate. How each team plays. So maybe this might help in your future matchups or even in the playoffs, which is coming in about a month. Okay, then this like last week I talked quite a lot, so yeah, I prepared a whole cup of water. So this week I'm gonna do 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and then Joe's gonna do 2, 4, 6, 8. So good luck to both of us. Okay, anything to do you wanna say before we begin, Joe?
Oh yeah, like just as a spectator, right? I think every game in this league has been super interesting and all the teams are bringing out cool stuff, right? So I think it's really nice to see and I'm thankful to everyone for that.
Nice. Then for me, I feel like the theme of this week, I think the title for my video I'm gonna put as well played games, like GGWP, right? The well played like really comes through here, because we are seeing a lot of very commanding wins with 6-0, 5-0, 4-0, 3-0, except for the last game that we're gonna feature. All games have been very commanding, and the teams that did well really played well to win, and they did win cleanly. So this is very very impressive and like very good showing for the teams that won. However, for the teams that lost, you guys just have to maybe learn from your mistakes and then improve along the way. But I feel it was still a good fight. Most of the time, it was just one careless mistake on the first turn, and then it snowballed all the way through. Right? Do you remember? Like, it's a common theme for our matches this week.
Yeah, maybe not just a turn 1 play, but like, a little bit of sloppiness at the start and they can really punish you for that.
Yeah. So these are things that you really have to be aware of, going into every match, because you only have one shot. It's just a best of 1 for regular season. So without further ado, I'll start off with our our game 1. This is between Puff Puff Pass and Martin Solrock. So this is the game that is the freshest. It was the last to be played. So Puff Puff Pass haven't give me their battle form yet. Please submit form. So I fill in the kills for them. The nicknames are just for fun. The only correct nickname is this fungus, Fuja Balala. But sadly, this Fuja Balala didn't do much. So here's the. Let me check if this is all correct. Yep. So I improved the layout such that you guys can see in the light purple zone. These are the mons they brought to preview. And then in the dark purple zone, these are the mons that were benched and not brought at all. So you can question, why didn't they bring a Scrafty in front of like good physical attackers like Rillaboom, Hitmonlee Grimmsnarl, right? So why didn't they bring the Scuffy? That's something that like I was a bit confused with when looking through the match. So I'm a bit anal about this layout. Okay, so what happened was like there was the I need to go all the way back to page 1. There was the Rillaboom Hitmonlee lead, very classic because although you don't see a lot in VGC, I think it's very useful because Hitmonlee is a very good support mon with Fake Out. Even Rillaboom has Fake Out, right? So you can and you won't even expect a Hitmonlee to max, which Solrock did last week, versus the Mimikyu Fungus, very obviously wanting to set Trick Room. So I think Puff's mindset is like, my Fungus can redirect Hitmonlee's attack, then Mimikyu is definitely safe to Trick Room because I have the Disguise, but they totally, this is like the first careless thing that happened this week. Like, it's so careless because, you know, like, if Mimikyu goes up against Cinderace, then you're gonna, okay, we know that the Cinderace has the max Pyro Ball, the max Fireball to go through Mimikyu's Disguise and Oko it, right? Then Rillaboom actually has the same thing, just that it's not commonly seen. So instantly, Hitmonlee coaching, Rillaboom max, Fungus Rage Powder for no reason. I mean, like, to no avail. Then Mimikyu tried to Trick Room, but then definitely goes down to a +1 drum solo. Then Metagross is forced to switch in, but it is Fungus' turn to max, which there's no point maxing a Fungus. So Metagross had to hard switch into Runerigus, which took the Rillaboom's Max Darkness. I mean, for sure there's a Max Darkness or Max Quake going into that slot. Then Runerigus died for nothing, but Fungus finally spawed into the Hitmonlee. So Hitmonlee got off 2 coachings, and I think that's more than enough into the Rillaboom, who is now +2 attack, +2 defense. Metagross switches in, and it's now Metagross' turn to max. Then, but then they were just trying to call Metagross being defensive and trying to max guard, but Metagross didn't max guard because he had to go for the Hail Mary, like max Steel Spike or something, right? So Rillaboom max Darkness into Fungus and brings it down to Sash. Then the Metagross went for max Steel Spike into the Hitmonlee because it's an easy target. Rillaboom is still maxed, and then it crit the Hitmonlee. That was a lucky crit, so they were able to take 1 KO there. Then Fungus went to Pollen Puff the Metagross. So I think it's a bit of a waste. Like, if Fungus had something like Clear Smoke for the Rillaboom, then that would easily negate Rillaboom's moves. So that's a Rillaboom's boost. So that's a missed opportunity there. Then Hitmonlee free switch into Absol. Fungus Rage Powder. So over here the Rillaboom ended its max, right? Rillaboom could have went for like Grassy Glide into the Fungus, which survived on Focus Sash, so very low health. Then Absol could go for 100% crit Night Slash because the Absol had Scope Lens with Super Luck, and then Night Slash boosts the crit ratio into the Metagross and probably take a kill, but they went for like something, they just tried to play safe. Then Absol's Night Slash got redirected into Fungus, and Rillaboom revealed Darkest Lariat that crit into a Metagross. That's quite unfair. Although the Metagross got a crit the previous turn, but this Darkest Lariat did like 75%, which is way too much to a Metagross. Then the Metagross KO'd the Absol with Steel Spike, and then we revealed that the Metagross is not Policy. I think Joe is guessing that it's AV. I'm not sure. Oh, actually, they revealed AV, right, in the paste.
They said somewhere in chat that they were too scared of Spectre, so they used AV.
Yeah. So the last slot for the Grimmsnarl, for the Solrock is Grimmsnarl. So it's Hitmonlee, Absol, Grimmsnarl. So we can see what's that? The the Zatu is not there. So I mean, it's quite expected. Then oh crap. Okay. Then the Metagross, it was very threatened with Darkest Lariat. I think Darkest Lariat is very good prep. Then the Puff of Pass switched into Feeny because the Fungus died. But at that turn, I feel like it was a free KO into the Grimmsnarl. So Grimmsnarl got a light screen up because they were more scared of the Feeny than the Metagross. Metagross was the last slot on that slot, and it's gonna die soon. Then Feeny went for Icy Wind, but Metagross went for Hailstorm into the +2 defense Rillaboom, which definitely cannot kill, so it's quite a wasted opportunity. Then Rillaboom easily KOs Metagross with another Darkest Lariat, forcing a 2v1 versus the Feeny slot. Then Rillaboom was +2 attack and +2 defense, and it's generally quite bulky. But Solrock decided to hard switch the Rillaboom out, forfeiting all the boosts. Then Fini finally revealed Nature's Madness into the Rillaboom slot, which swapped into a Gastro. So the Rillaboom could have easily taken out the Fini to try and end the game earlier. Then Grimmsnarl does what Grimmsnarl does best and Spirit Break into the Fini. Then that turn, Fini was in front of Grimmsnarl and Gastrodon, but then the Fini hard switched into the Marill. Then Grimmsnarl and Gastro just spam attacks. Then Marill actually went for Perish Song, and he finally got, like, to try and get the kill on Grimmsnarl, because Grimmsnarl was the last slot. Then the damage onto Marill is overwhelming from Grimmsnarl because it's not intimidated with just Spirit Break, and then Gastro with Earth Power. So the Marill died, and then the Fini came in, and Fini managed to get a double protect, and then they earned themselves +1 differential because they managed to kill the Grimmsnarl by getting a double protect. But in the end, it was just a very commanding win from the Solrock side, because yeah, it was just careless. If I'm a Mimikyu facing against a Rillaboom, I would try my best. Maybe I'll just do like Focus Sash Mimikyu. I think that might catch your opponent off guard, but it's quite a waste. I think Jigs from Puff Puff Pass mentioned they totally forgot about the G-Max move from Rillaboom, so very unfortunate there. So what do you have?
Yeah, it was too bad about turn 1 because that lead really gets destroyed by the coaching Rillaboom, right? Like, once they max the Rillaboom, they have no choice. They can't Trick Room, and then Metagross is in a bad spot because it can't max like the turn it comes in, so they had to switch out. They gave up the free Runerigas. And yeah, it was just too bad. And then from Martin's Solrock end, the Darkest Lariat and the Crit Absol were really, really smart to get around Metagross, because like, even if Metagross gets all these defense boosts, right?
Yep.
You can just Darkest Lariat or you can crit through them, so it didn't even matter.
Oh, Ted's in chat. Yeah, Ted, you're from the Solrocks, right? We felt like we did not even need the resist or the immunities. Yeah, because all you need to do is bring your dark types and your ghost type, and then all their mons, if you can see on the screen, Mimikyu, Metagross, Runerigas, Latias, all weak to ghost or dark, right? That's quite sad, stacking a lot of weaknesses. Then and I think it's also very, very risky to lead with PZ because like the Hitmonlee is such a good asset with the Grassy Seed instantly getting the Unburden boost, so PZ is in danger. Like, yeah, but maybe Fungus can protect the PZ, so not very sure why. Yeah, maybe they're just afraid of like Rillaboom Fake Out plus quick, like just a close combat into the PZ slot. Yeah, that will easily take it out. So yeah, it felt like Puff Puff Pass was sort of pressured to go for the turn 1 Trick Room. But yeah, I'm gonna mention this a few times this week. Just like I feel my observations after 3 weeks of games. Turn 1 Trick Room is not the way to go. It's very, very risky, and you still have to account for your opponent's dynamics. With that double HP, even in Trick Room, the opponent's Maxmon should be bulky enough to even do good damage in Trick Room. So unless you have an extremely solid Trick Room plan, because to me, Follow Me Trick Room doesn't really help, because like the Fungus, if it doesn't go down, then turn 2, maybe it has Spore pressure, but then it's not doing damage. Then if the opponent is prepared for Spore, then you're just gonna keep taking damage on both sides. So to me, turn 1 Trick Room in a multi-battle 6v6 is very, very risky, and you really need to have a very good reason for that.
Yeah.
I felt,
and then like in this league, right, the switches are way more predictable, I guess, because there's only 3 in that slot, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have a good idea of what move you can click into there. Like in regular VGC, maybe you could do a surprise switch, right? Like turn 1 of Trick Room, you could just switch out whatever passive mon you have out to like support your Trick Room setter. Yeah. Or you can switch out your Trick Room setter, but then in this case it's quite difficult, and then you can't even max the turn you come in, so...
Yeah. So... yeah, so that's all we have. And then shoutouts to Martin, Solrock, Ted, Your team finally came through with nicknames. Quite cute. Quite interesting nicknames. Not bad. Because last 2 weeks, it was so boring. Like, your Rillaboom's nickname is Rillaboom, Spectre's nickname is Spectre. So, thanks for playing. Then, look at the Puff nicknames. I just wanted them to submit their form ASAP, so I came with a lot of crap. I did it this time, since we did nothing. Cool, thanks. Then, some stuff that I found weird. See, we're putting in more info on the screen, right? So, not bringing Porygon Z or Latias, that's so risky. It feels like Puff is going all in on the Trick Room route, you know? Yeah, then when, like, if they don't get Trick Room, which is what happened this game, or when Trick Room expires, then what do, right? So, here we see like a not very solid game plan, because Trick Room most of the time in a game, you know, you can only set it up once, especially if you have a Trick Room setter like Mimikyu. So, I think, yeah, they maybe bringing Latias or Porygon somewhere could have changed the game. Then I'm still very confused as to why Scrafty didn't come, because the only thing that can hit Scrafty for super effective on the opponent's side is Grimmsnarl. Yeah, maybe Hitmonlee, but Scrafty should be bulky enough, plus he always gets the Intimidate off, right? So it's quite sad.
Yeah, I think you're super right about Scrafty. The Porygon Z was probably just a bait, right? So that they don't like max Ghost into that slot, but then still they brought 3 dark weaknesses on the, well, not weakness, you know, but then once Mimikyu goes down, you know, you can safely max darkness into the player 1 slot.
Yeah. So maybe they were just quite prepared for Spectre, but not enough, because Solrock was fully prepared with a Rillaboom Hitmonlee lead, and then they don't need a Spectre with Dark Move on Rillaboom, actually even potential Dark Move on Hitmonlee.
Right.
Nice. So, okay, that was game 1. That was the 15, I think 10 minutes, 12 minutes. Yeah, nice. That was good. Man, we are a good team. Okay, let's go. Game 2, now it's your turn.
Let's go.
Wait, this is so easy to recount though. Okay, so this is your match against Surging Surfers.
Yeah, luckily we played this one, so we remember this pretty well.
Okay.
So we led Swampert Cottony into Kyogre Armaldo, and I'm quite happy with these nicknames, right? Crush and Squirt for the lead.
Yeah, Finding Nemo, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I gave the nicknames for Puppy's team. Nah, let's not skip game 2. By the way, Puppy's team, do you recognize all these names? These are all beaches, not bitches, beaches. Okay, continue, sorry.
Why are you calling them beaches?
No, I'm not calling them beaches. It's like, cause they are the Surging Surfers, you know, and then you came up with Finding Nemo nicknames, so I decided to come up with Sandy. Man, there's no other word for beaches. Okay.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Shores,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the first turn we had Sunny Day on Cottony, so we click Sunny Day. And then Kyogre goes for Water Spout, and Armaldo doubles into Swampert with Liquidation. And in total, it only took about 40% outside of max even.
That was crazy. Like the amount of damage that the Kyogre did is so little.
Yeah, they just weren't thinking about Sunny Day, right? And then Swampert did about 60 to 70 from high horsepower into Armaldo. The second turn, they maxed their Armaldo. Cottony caught in Spores, but Kyogre protected. And then Swampert high horsepowers again, but we just about missed out on the KO. And then we we take a max Geyser into Swampert, but Sun was still up, so we took very little damage.
Yeah.
And Armaldo dies to Life Orb.
Yep.
And then turns that was a sad moment.
Sad moment.
Turn 3, the Pincurchin came into the Armaldo slot. We felt kind of forced to click Sunny Day on Cottony again. And then Pincurchin Sucker Punches the Swampert, but doesn't KO. And then Kyogre KOs Cottony with an Ice Beam, which was quite smart because Cottony was a bit of a pain for them to deal with. And then Swampert KOs the Pincurchin with high horsepower. And then the next turn, Indeedee comes into the Pincurchin slot as their last Mon. So we switched out Swampert into Volcanion and throw chopped the Indeedee with Zero Aura, who came in for Cottony. And the Kyogre switched into Raichu that turn. And we throw chopped the Indeedee, right? We brought it down to Sash, and then Kyogre switched out into Raichu, and the Indeedee expanding force and Psychic Terrain.
Indeed, it
Turn
was
5,
very weirdly slow. So
true, yeah. Where was I?
turn 5.
Turn 5, Indeedee protects and Raichu expanding forces, and since we maxed Volcanion, we didn't get KO'd. Zeraora just about hung on also. And then we KO'd the Raichu with the Max Quake. Turn 6, we protected Zeraora to avoid taking an expanding force because we were assuming Volcanion would be slower than Indeedee, but it turns out that wasn't the case. And then Kyogre went for Water Spout, which actually healed our Volcanion because of Water Absorb.
Yeah.
And then we took out the 1 HP Indeedee with Max Quake. And then from there, Zeraora and Volcanion were able to cleanly KO. Both Kyogre and Marowak were by themselves in the left slot.
Yeah, because you guys eliminated the Armaldo, Indeedee, Pinkajin slot pretty easily. Because Indeedee is probably the fastest on the team. Even then Raichu is very frail. So as long as you got the Indeedee off the field, then you just have to like double the Marowak and the Kyogre and just kill. Yeah, well,
Yeah, we just have to have enough KO.
Yeah,
enough HP, sorry.
I thought maybe Kyogre would have been bulky enough to survive a Plasma Feast, but I think I guessed wrong. The HP bar moves so fast. From full HP to 0.
Yeah, Zeraora is strong.
Then I'm not sure. Like I'm not sure what happened to that Indeedee male, because somehow it's just not doing enough damage with step expanding force, even in Psychic Terrain, right? So
Yeah.
maybe the Max Quick just helped your mons out. Yeah, I thought you would have taken the kill on the Zeraora.
With expanding force, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit surprising, but we had like decent bulk on Zeraora.
I see. That's interesting.
Zeraora is like, surprisingly bulky as well. Yeah.
Nice. So let me check my notes. My notes.
So then, like one problem that the servers had, right, is that they always posted all their EVs in the PokePaste thing. Yeah. And then they happened to bring the same sets like quite often, so we had a good idea of what they were gonna bring. But then, yeah, Poppy, I thought you played like pretty well, right? Well, as well as you could have done, because we kind of knew all your sets. Like when you Ice Beam the Cottonee, right? We weren't expecting that, so Cottonee was kind of a key member in terms of maintaining speed control, because we had Cotton Spore and then we had Sunny Day to like reduce the damage from Armaldo and Kyogre as well. So it's quite smart. We also had Encore, so we were planning to Encore the Kyogre and to protect at some point.
You only needed to be. Then my my notes are that like Surging Surface doesn't have a grass type, so actually if you don't keep that Swampert in check, Swampert can Dynamax anytime and wreck a lot of the mons except for the Kyogre. So they might, you have been useful to have a random grass move somewhere, maybe from Raichu. I think even Indeedee gets a grass move, but it just didn't come through. Then the Swampert just did a lot of damage, enough for the mons behind to easily clean up. Then they also didn't have a solid way to kill Volcanion. I think that's just Raichu's only job, and then Raichu went down too fast. Then Kyogre can't even touch. I mean, it can thunder into the Volcanion, but it might not be enough. Then it went for the Water Spout. I think that's quite careless, because Volcanion has only one ability, right? So if you do your research, you should try not to heal the Volcanion. I think a lot of people make that mistake because they thought water and fire cancel out, so water is neutral into the Volcanion, it will do good damage. So, well, can you imagine if you expected like a water move from Armaldo, then you switch in the Volcanion, then Armaldo just wastes its Dynamax.
Yeah.
And
certain people have Max Geysered into Volcanion in other leagues,
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah. So then one more thing to sort of learn from, I think, because from all the matches that we watched, the Surging Surfers play, we rank their team as interesting, right? Because they have quite a lot of recurring types, and then they're very centered around that Kyogre mode, and like the mons don't seem to be very common or very popular mons, so they are quite niche. Then and then like we see them now with a 0-3 record, so that's not very healthy. But like what I want to take away is that like from the matches we see the Surging Surfers play, if you scroll down and then you look at the Dynamax section, then you look back at the kills, the Dynamax mons haven't been getting any kills. So I feel like they haven't been choosing their Dynamax mons well enough. Like that on that turn, Armaldo was chipped down to less than 50%, but they still went ahead to Dynamax Armaldo, maybe to just try and trust the bulk, right? And then try and reset the rain, but I think that wasn't enough. So maybe they just have to play slowly and then position well. Like even if someone gets KO'd, maybe the free switch comes in with max HP to then Dynamax and have more of an impact. So my takeaway is that we can learn from the Surging Surfers that sometimes like a reactive Dynamax in a multi-battle might not be the best thing to do.
Yeah, I agree. They definitely have been somewhat wasteful with their Dynamax, like in all their games. There was one where they maxed Alolan Raichu and they only got one Mon down to Sash. They got a Galvantula down to Sash. And then they took like 40% from their own Sucker Punch, so...
Yeah,
they didn't quite do enough. Like, with Volcanion and Swampert, right, we knew that certain stuff like Raichu, Xurkitree could carry like strong grass moves. So we had AV, but then we wanted to be careful not to just let it get KO'd, so that's why we didn't necessarily go for Swampert max plan, and then... But they didn't end up bringing any grass moves, which was just because they're busy to change the sets, right?
Yeah. Then one last thing for this matchup, remember to always post your Pokepaste, to everyone. Remember to post your Pokepaste like without EVs and natures, and then even the IVs, right? Like you don't want to reveal that you are 0 speed sometimes. So Puppy is saying that you don't really know how to do it, but I guess we can teach you along the way. But remember, just in the import and export, you can just delete those rows where it says EVs and nature. So you don't want to reveal too much information to your potential opponents. So please remember that for everyone, because I still see a few teams with EVs on their Pokepaste.
Yeah, you can even manually submit your team into Pokepaste itself, right? And then you can delete everything through there.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so that was game 2. Very commanding victory, 5-0. But not enough. See, you guys, you let your Cottony go down. Shaking my head. Okay, so next matchup will be Malcolm versus The Last Buffet. I think it was streamed just yesterday by our dad. I felt like it was pretty close, but there are so many things that The Last Buffet could have done better. So, oh yeah, let me remember to look this. Okay, so here's the play-by-play. It was an Insane Starmie versus a Genesect Clefable lead. Very obvious that the Clefable wants to go for Follow Me, right? But why would you Dynamax a Genesect in front of a potential Incineroar that can Burning Jealousy, or I think Incineroar learns... Wait, does it learn Heat Wave? That was just mind-boggling. But then the Malcolm just went ahead to Dynamax the Genesect because maybe they trust in Genesect's bulk. So Genesect went for... Wait, I just need to check. Insane. My god, Insane learns Heat Wave. That's the thing. Then their Insane didn't prepare Heat Wave. Although it says submit your form, but I kind of guess what their Insane set is. So, Genesect got the special attack boost from download. That's quite crucial and very, very useful on Malcolm's side. So, Insane went to fake out the Clefable, and then it got Cute Charm. That's super cute. Like, it's just unfortunate. Like, the Clefable could have any other ability, but it got Cute Charm, and the genders were correct. So, Insane got, like there's a chance 50% to get Infatuated. Then, Genesect with Life Orb, it revealed Life Orb, Max Flutterby into Starmie. Starmie survived on Sash and finally went for the Trick Room. Then, Insane was afraid of being in love, so it hard switches into Suicune. Then, Clefable went for Follow Me, just to avoid a move from Insane. Then, like Genesect wants to take out the Insane as quick as possible, so he went for the only other move that he had, which was Max Lightning. So the Suicune came in and ate a +1 special attack Max Lightning with Life Orb, and he survived because he had the Wakan Berry. If without the Wakan Berry, he would just die. Then Starmie, like, he didn't want to switch out, right? Because they wanted to get a free switch. So Starmie just went for a very weak Dazzling Gleam. But I think Malcolm was lucky to keep the Starmie alive because Starmie is not doing anything. Then the turn 2, the Suicune had an option to go for Snarl, but he didn't. I'm not sure why, but he hard switched back into Insane. Then Clefable went for the Moonblast for an easy KO on Starmie because Clefable didn't need to go for Follow Me on that turn, right? Then the Genesect just went for another Max Lightning in terrain, and it KOs Insane one shot. Then the best answer to Genesect was gone, and then 2 turns of Trick Room were also gone. So, like, the last buffet set up Trick Room. Then, like my good friend Brian likes to say, at what cost, right? So both died. Then they got a free switch into Solgaleo and Appleton. Then the Solgaleo, it wasn't the Solgaleo's turn to max yet. So Clefable had to still go for Follow Me to protect the Genesect. And then Genesect took so much life of KO, right? But he was still alive because no damage was done into Genesect. Then the Solgaleo went for Sunsteel Strike into Clefable, but the Clefable had Babiri Berry, so it didn't kill. It didn't even come close to a KO. Then Appleton went for Amnesia. And then Genesect Bug Buzz into the Appleton, and surprisingly, because of the +1 special attack, it does more than half to the Appleton. So, like, so many turns of Trick Room gone, and then Genesect was still able to perform so well in Trick Room. Then, this is the last turn of Trick Room. The Genesect finally went for Protect, but the Appleton couldn't attack, right? It went for Recover, it had to save itself. Then Clefable went for Moonblast into Appleton, and it even undersped the Solgaleo. That's kind of crazy. I mean, that's so sad for the Solgaleo. Then Solgaleo finally went for Steel Spike into the Clefable to KO, but the Trick Room ended. Then Clefable had a free switch into, guess who? You can see on the screen, right? Urshifu. Then Urshifu's Wicked Blow does 55% to Solgaleo, and Genesect's +1 Flamethrower takes Solgaleo all the way down to, I think, like 2%, 7 HP. But it was a lucky survival because even a higher roll would have easily taken down the Solgaleo. And Solgaleo, strangely, it went for Max Knuckle into the Urshifu. I felt like that was a missed opportunity. It could have went for Max Steel Spike to help Appleton boost the body press damage. Yeah, so that turn they doubled into the Urshifu and managed to take it down. Then the Urshifu had a free switch into Executor. So the end game, Genesect was still in control. Even though it keeps taking life of damage, it's still alive, like, surprisingly. So he just had to click like Flamethrower into the Solgaleo slot. Then Executor actually only had Giga Drain or Draco Meteor, so he didn't want to just waste that Draco Meteor. So the Executor kept going for Giga Drain. But then Appleton, it could have recovered, it could have body pressed the Genesect, but it went for another Amnesia. Wow, that was so risky, like in front of 2 mons faster than you. I felt like on that turn, Appleton should have attacked. Then that turn, you know, but then they didn't kill the Solgaleo because the Solgaleo max guarded. Then Solgaleo was left with 3 HP, and I'm not sure why, but Baodet decided to hard switch into Suicune because they wanted to try and take the Flamethrower. But then it was at 3 HP, so Executor could easily just Giga Drain that slot, right? Which is what the Executor did, and then the Giga Drain killed the Suicune, and Executor recovered so much health. Then the Genesect's Bug Buzz nearly KOs the Appleton, but then the Appleton's Body Press, because it's only at +1 defense, because they only got 1 Steel Spike and 1 Knuckle, so it should have been a +2 defense. Yeah, so the Body Press just misses the KO on the Genesect. So sad. So the whole time you can see the Genesect slot had the Arcanine and the Drifblim behind it, right? They didn't even need to bring the Arcanine out. Then Genesect just helped chip down so much damage, and then you can see the kills actually went to Executor because Executor sort of did the cleanup. Then in the end, the Insane Solgaleo Suicune slot is dead. The Starmie slot is dead. Starmie Appleton died to another Bug Buzz. Then the Conkeldurr came in, right? They thought the Conkeldurr could, you know, at least survive something, but finally the Executor revealed Draco Meteor, and then that's the end of the Conkeldurr. So finally the Genesect went down, Then Arcanine came in fresh, and then Arcanine just went for play rough. So super unfortunate for the last buffet side. Just really they came with the game one, the turn one trick room strategy. Like I said in the previous match, might not be the best strategy. Then here we see the downfall of the turn one trick room strategy because your opponent can Dynamax and exert so much pressure. Then in the end, their trick room turns were like for the most part like wasted. So it's just very unfortunate on their end. Okay, so Joe, what do you have? What notes do you have?
I thought the Trick Room was kind of okay, right? Because Genesect is like faster than
Fast.
most of their mons, so they could feel pretty good about setting up Trick Room. But then instead of doing something like Flip Turn with Starmie, right, on the first turn, like Starmie's fast, so you could pretty much guarantee you get out of there safely and you get a free switch in into like. Personally, I think Conkeldurr was the right switch, right? But they never dealt with Clefable. They were just switching around, which makes sense to try to stall out their max, but I think they way underestimated +1 Genesect's damage output, right? Because just Max Lightning and Terrain, like, just KO'd Incin, which was a big tool that they needed to get rid of the Genesect in the first place. So that thing was dead, and then the Appleton came in to set up Amnesia, but it wasn't really like a proper win con because Genesect was just doing too much damage into it, so like even if you get to like +2 or +4, right, it was just gonna KO too quickly. And they didn't have recovery on that thing besides clicking recover.
Yeah.
And then outside of Trick Room, it wasn't enough because they just died anyway.
Yeah. So my notes about recovery. We saw on the PokePace. I think I saw from Baodet's stream. The Appleton's item was Yachi Berry. I think it was afraid of the Vanillux, which didn't come, unfortunately. But I thought having something like Leftovers, because you are trying to go all in on the Trick Room play, so it should be able to get Amnesia, even before the Vanillux hits the field. So I feel like a better item for the Appleton could be Leftovers. Then it ensures that the attack from Genesect might not be a 2-hit KO, so it will turn into a 3-hit KO with Leftovers recovery. Then I really think that Incineroar should have a spread move just to prepare for Clefable, right? And then it's just so careless for Malcolm to Dynamax a Genesect in front of a potential like Incineroar with good moves. Yeah, I mean, granted, the Genesect smartly went for max Flutterby, right, to potentially lower Incin's special attack. But I think Incin should still be able to do good damage, and we even saw like the strategy of a Sash Starmie to go for Trick Room on turn 1, so Incin should be able to get 2 attacks off. Yeah, but unfortunately that didn't happen, so I thought it was not very good prep on their end. Like how in the world do they think Incin and Starmie could handle like a Clefable lead, right? So I think there's some areas of improvement there for the last buffet.
Yeah, they never had pressure on Clefable. Like they never had taunt, or they never had like anything that could ever KO the Clefable besides Solgaleo. And then Solgaleo was running, I think it was Zen Headbutt, right? It was running a Psychic move this week. I thought it was quite surprising because it doesn't really hit anything like super well on the opponent team. I think they could have had like Max Quake and just in Trick Room try to set up like the special defense and defense boost for something.
Yeah,
I also think
the move set on the Solgaleo is so strange. I just don't get it. Why do they need Max Psychic? It was Zen Headbutt, Sunsteel Strike, Superpower, and No Protect, Trick Room. So yeah, like a lot of times they were in a very bad position in front of the Urshifu and the Genesect with access to Flamethrower. So very tricky. Then KS is right. When they finally submit their pace, you can see because on stream I saw a lot of their mons don't have Protect. So at a lot of situations when their Trick Room plan fails or the Trick Room expires, then it's very difficult for their mons to position well, because they don't have that Protect to try and switch another mon in and try and get into a better position. So I feel like Protect, like we can learn from this match that, and a lot of other matches that we're gonna cover, that Protect is very important in multi-battles. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So this was quite a one-sided game, quite a commanding game from Malcolm. And then shoutouts to your nicknames, which I don't understand. I'm sorry. I don't even know what 30C Setch is. Maybe Arcanine is just Setch. Okay, so that's game 3. Let's move on to game 4. Omanytes versus Pokepals. Oh, one more shout out. This is what happened in the game. This is Pokepals trainer cards. Wow, thanks for... Man, that's so cool. Yeah, thanks
So
for
nice.
coordinating.
Wow.
So cute. Okay, let's go. What do you have? This was streamed by Lemmy. So shoutouts to Lemmy. Thanks for streaming. Thanks for remembering to click record and then uploading your VOD onto YouTube so all of us can view the match. Yeah, the double genie team.
Yep. Thanks for vaping on stream. Yeah.
Hey.
Very cool.
Okay. No, we don't need. That's too much information. But yeah, okay. Okay, come on, give us the play-by-play. Like Whimsicott Cobalion, that's quite scary, right?
Yeah. So the first turn they had Thunderous Sableye out. They fake out and just right away max the Thunderous to airstream the Whimsicott to try to get rid of it. And Cobalion actually went for Quick Guard that turn, so they were protecting from the fake out from Sableye, and then Whimsicott actually Moonblasts Sableye without KOing it, and then it eats a berry, so it heals back to health. And then Thunderous airstreamed the Whimsicott, and it was brought down to Sash. So Whimsicott still sticks around, but then Cobalion's in an awkward spot where it can't max right away, and they also didn't have Protect, right? Or they didn't go for Protect at least. So Whimsicott sets up Tailwind, and Sableye quashes the Cobalion. And then Thunderous airstreams that slot, which isn't max, so it does a ton of damage, like about 50%. And Cobalion returns with the Iron Head into Sableye, and it doesn't KO.
Yeah, that
Turn
Sableye
3.
was so bulky.
Yeah. Turn 3, they hard switched Landorus into Sableye. And then the Pokeballs max their Cobalion, even, you know, again, like on 50% health. So they Moonblasted the Landorus switch in. And then Thunderous went for Max Knuckle into Cobalion. And they returned with a Max Fall into Thunderous, which didn't do much. It did like 30-40% because they were intimidated. And then turn 4, Darmanitan comes in for the Whimsicott, and it KOs Thunderous outside of Max with Ice Punch. And then Cobalion doesn't KO the Landorus with Steel Spike. And that means Landorus gets a free Earthquake off, and it takes out the Cobalion and does good damage into Darmanitan. Yeah. And then the Latios comes in for the Pokepals, and the Pelipper comes in for the Omanytes, and Pokepals double the Pelipper for a KO with the Landorus protecting, so that was a good play.
Good call, right?
Yeah. And then turn 6, the Tailwind just ended for the Pokepals, and they sent in, I think it was Scarf Volcarona. And Landorus goes down to Ice Punch from the Darmanitan, which was also Scarf, but Volcarona gets Struggle Bug, and it KOs Darmanitan, and it chips down Latios a lot. And then Lucario comes in for the Omanytes, and Vacuum Wave plus Struggle Bug KOs the Heliolisk who came in for the Pokepals. And then they hard switch the other slot into Torkoal, but then Torkoal is left by itself, so it's forced into a 2v1, and it gets one Burning Jealousy off before it gets KO'd. And then Latios at low health gets KO'd the next turn, and that was the end of the game.
At the end of the game, the Scarf Volcarona really came in clutch for the Omanyte side.
Yeah.
Because Pokepal said that they were caught off guard. And then they just had to keep clicking Struggle Bug because the remaining Mons, Torkoal, Latios, and Heliolisk are all special attackers.
Yeah.
So what? KS, what do the nicknames mean? I don't know though, like Immortal Rexplore, I didn't do my research. Then
I feel like a reference.
Man, yeah, but cool, that's not bad. My takeaways from this match is that you can see the Dynamax candidates on the right. Thunderous, Cobalion, then you look at the kills. 0 kills. That's because both teams are sort of able to stall out their opponent's max pretty well, but I felt like it might not be the best max option. So the max moves that they did maybe didn't help the team in general, because you want to really make full use of the 3 max turns very well. Then one thing that I felt like PokePals didn't do, which is yeah, maybe they just didn't think far enough. Wait, let me read Guard's chat first. Super well played. We prepared for most of what they had, but then the Volcarona ended the game. Oh, it's from Invincible? Damn. I wanted to write the hype, but then I haven't. I didn't have time to watch the show or read the comics. Oh, Invincible. That's okay. Then I really appreciate this nickname because it's very relevant pop culture. Then for the whole time, right, the Cobalion was on the field for 3 turns. Before Whimsicott went down, Whimsicott never went for beat up. So Cobalion is always doing very minimal damage, right? Even and also with the Intimidate from the Landorus, then that just makes Cobalion even weaker. So I felt like PokePals really wanted to get the beat up off sometime, but they forgot that if the Cobalion wants to attack Thunderous, right, on the opposing slot with Max Rock 4, it's gonna kill Whimsicott with its own sash. And then Whimsicott just didn't have time to even set up the beat up, so I felt like the max on that Cobalion was wasted. Then one more thing is that I thought that instead of Heliolisk in the end game, maybe even Nuzleaf in the end game could serve them well, because then they have good speed control, and then Nuzleaf could try its best to KO the Volcarona fast. And then there goes your Scarfmon, right? Then maybe Toko without the special attack drop could just help to do a lot of good damage. Yeah, so quite unfortunate. The last one was Heliolisk, and somehow Omanytes prepared on Lucario. They prepared Vacuum Wave. Jeez, special Lucario with
Lucario.
Vacuum Wave, Flash Cannon, and Dark Pulse. Damn. And then that Vacuum Wave did so much to the Heliolisk because it's super effective. That was quite you never see this like every day, right? It's not something you see every day. So that's quite cool. Yeah, not going for beta was the biggest regret. Yeah, and you forgot about that aspect. Yeah, so I kind of expected that. So something to learn going forward. Whimsicott Cobalion lead should be very stable and like very useful for your team. So I mean, just take this as a learning process as to how to use it better. Yeah.
Yeah, they just had some struggles against Thunder Sableye lead, right? Because as long as they leave Sableye out on the field, they can just keep getting quashed. So like the Tailwind didn't matter or anything.
True.
And then they felt way too pressured by the fake out turn 1, so they were forced to go to quick guard.
Yeah.
And they took so much damage on their Cobalion because of that. Because the Thunders just decided to max right away, and then they went for I think 2 Airstreams and Knuckles, so they were starting to lose the speed advantage as well.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I see. Like if Sableye is going to be on the field all the time going for quash, then because on turn 1 they eliminated the fact that Sableye is eject button, because they Moonblaster into Sableye ate a bulky berry. So instead of like going for Tailwind on turn 2, maybe they could just go straight for the beat up for the Cobalion to just do maximum damage, right? Yeah. So that was a wasted opportunity going for the Tailwind there in front of a Sableye that can quash.
Yeah. One thing I really noticed that the PokePals had quite a few times where they almost KO'd the opponent Pokemon, but then they just about didn't, and that really cost them a lot because
That's true, yeah.
they ended up getting another attack off like on Landorus or on Sableye, for example.
I think that comes down to Omanytes' team with Genies, and even Volcarona is quite bulky on the special side, and then Sableye has very few weaknesses, so generally a very stable, very good, bulky, good stuffs team. So that might prove hard to take down from the PokePal side. Yeah. So okay, that's game 4. Okay, cool. Nice. So here we go. This is the last game from the Rose group. So another 5-0 victory. That seems to be very commanding, but if you look at the matchup, it seems very tough for Xerneas' side. Because, if the Magearna is able to set up easily and he gets max Steel Spike, then it's very good in front of a Garchomp and even the Entei, right? So, props to Xerneas for really pulling it through and making some very, I feel like this game is one of the most skillfully played games in our league thus far. So they made very, very good plays, and it really helped them a lot in the match. Then there's a small factor of Tyrunts not prepping their mons correctly, so they might have brought the wrong mons, or they might not have put full EVs into some of their mons, so that was quite unfortunate on their end. For example, a big thing was the Morgana on their side in Tailwind still cannot outspeed the Persian, so that's sad, because if he outsped the Persian, then that's it already. He just easily gets the KO onto Persian with max star 4. So here's the play by play. They led with Persian Entei, and then Tyrunts led with Tyrantrum Tornadoes. So finally featuring their mascot, the Big Rexy, the dino. Then Tornadoes went for Protect, quite smart to protect from Persian's fake out. And then Entei, I believe Entei was Scarfed, so you could only go for one move, Scorching Sands into Tyrantrum, which didn't kill because it's not stabbed. And Entei's special attack is not that high, as in not as high as the attack stat. Then Tyrantrum just risked it all with 80% rock hit smash with life orb, and it easily KOs the Entei, which is one of Morgana's biggest threats. So Xerneas was panicking, right? So Sceptile switches in for Entei, and then Skyway in chat, or Harrow, he had this discovered play that maybe the Sceptile could just hard switch into the Wheezing, turning off the Prankster from Tornadoes, and then Persian goes for the foul play snipe into Tyrantrum for the KO. Then on that turn, at the end of the turn, Tornadoes finally goes for Tailwind. So Tyrantrum went down, and then Morgana switches in for free, just in time for max also. So Morgana just had to max on that turn. However, Wheezing's on the field, so Morgana can never get the so hard boost unless they try and take down Wheezing. However, Morgana went for the easy KO into the Persian, going for max star 4, but Persian surprisingly outsped Morgana and went for parting shot. And then, man, they almost switched into Garchomp, then that would be game over, but they switched into Ninetales, so good calls on their end. And Morgana's max star 4 didn't kill Ninetales, it did only 55%. And then Tornadoes went for Taunt onto Wheezing, and Wheezing failed to taunt the Morgana to potentially stop a Trick Room. Actually, I'm not sure why the Wheezing taunted. I think there's nothing else the Wheezing could do because the coverage move was only Flamethrower. Then on that turn, Tyrunts wanted to capitalize on Tailwind. So the Tornadoes hard switch into Komo-O. And then Ninetales, is definitely threatened by Morgana's Steel Spike. So the Ninetales hard switch back into Persian. The Morgana's max Steel Spike surprisingly didn't kill Persian because it's at -1 special attack. So very unfortunate. I felt like if the star 4 did 55% to the Ninetales, right, then it could have easily went for another star 4, right? It didn't have to go for super effective Steel Spike onto the Ninetales slot. So going for star 4 I think would have helped a lot. Then the Wheezing finally went for Flamethrower to try and break Tornado's sash because Wheezing is taunted, but then it Flamethrower into a Komo-O that did nothing. Then the Persian was on the field now in front of the Komo-O. The Persian faked out the Komo-O. Then Morgana still didn't go for the kill onto Persian, so it's quite strange. Then Morgana went for the Steel Spike into Wheezing. I think on that turn, the Tyrunts finally realized that, oh, we really need to take this Wheezing out because we're not getting our so hard boost. Yeah, so and at the same time, they're also committing to Steel Spiking in preparation for maybe Garchomp in the back, they realized. But in the end, Morgana didn't take any KOs, and Xerneas just so happened to stall out the Dynamax successfully. Then the Wheezing finally Flamethrower into the Morgana, and it confirmed the WP. And then on that turn, Tailwind ended, and Taunt ended on Wheezing. So this is the huge turn. The Morgana went for Protect. I think it didn't have Trick Room. I think we can see in the Poke Pace. Morgana paced defensive and he went for Protect. But then the Persian smartly parting shot into the Komo-O instead. Then Komo-O went for the Fire Punch, which was once a Persian, but then the Persian swapped into a Garchomp. Garchomp didn't take any damage, and then the Wheezing was ignored, right? And then the Wheezing survives to pull off a very important haze. That haze away everything that the Morgana put so much work to do. So Morgana is now at neutral defense and Garchomp is on the field, and then the opponent doesn't have Tailwind. So Garchomp is... And oh yeah, just in time, right? Yeah, it was Garchomp's turn to max. Yeah, so Garchomp just max, and then it max quick into the Magearna that switched into a Seismitoad. I think a max HP Seismitoad might survive it, but to everyone's surprise, the Seismitoad went down, so Garchomp got a free snipe. Then Magearna had to switch back. Magearna was forced to protect, right? So Garchomp went for the max Wormwind into the Komo slot, but the Komo switched into the Tornadoes, and then there was another snipe from Garchomp. Garchomp got another free kill, and the Tornadoes wasn't Sash. Now I know where the Sash is. The Sash is on Togepi. Yeah, it's crazy. Then like Garchomp is now left unchecked, and then next turn the Magearna tried to double protect but failed. Then Garchomp max quick into the Magearna, and then that's it. So Komo came in, and Garchomp's naturally faster, and Xerneas just cleaned up the game like that. With very good switching at the front, and then the Weezing came in so clutch for them. Weezing helped so much, and something that they totally didn't expect. Like even as a team, they also didn't think that Weezing would do well into this matchup. But somehow, in paper it looks strange, but then in practice it worked out super well. Then after that, it was just a very clean KO, clean sweep from the Garchomp, because they saved their resources, and then they left Garchomp in, and then they brought Garchomp in at the correct time to max and just do maximum damage. Oh yeah, and then that makes Garchomp tied with Volcarona in the kill leaderboard, with both of them at 7 kills. Yeah, I thought Garchomp worked very hard. That's why I was sneaky to put Garchomp on top of Volcarona. But Lemmy is right. Yeah, you guys are tied for kill leader. Oh man, seeing Garchomp topping the leaderboard after he got sniped, it's like seeing somebody driving your dream car. Oh, that's so sad. Yeah.
It was doing a ton of damage this game, huh?
Joe was complaining to me why, Joe and KS, why isn't Garchomp in S tier?
No, I wasn't. I think A tier is fair. But then, yeah, Garchomp's quite good, right?
Time for a PK. But I think overall, like I feel like this match is a must watch. From you guys can have the link at the top on Mewmat's Twitch channel. It's very entertaining because Mewmat danced on stream. He was so happy and he was popping off like because they made very good plays. But I think a lot of credit goes to Harold, Skyway99, who's in chat. Yeah, so very sick plays, and that here we have another way to defeat Magearna, a very broken mon that right now, like in our league, doesn't even seem to be broken, even if he had the choice to Dynamax. Yeah, I made a new column in the leaderboard, so you guys can see how many times the kill leaders have maxed. You can see Magearna is 3 for 3, but then unfortunately, yeah, just couldn't pull things off, and then Tyrunts now suffer a 0-3 loss. But I think Joe's mentioned to me before, for sure we're gonna see the Tyrunts doing well in the next few weeks. I think trying their best to climb back up and trying to improve.
Yeah, I think this was better prep than compared to like some of their past games, right? You could tell. But this was just very well played on the Xerneas end, and then there's a lot of really interesting stuff in this game. Like, this was a good use of Weezing to cancel out the opponent's abilities, because on the Xerneas side, right, they weren't really harmed by any of their abilities getting canceled out. Like, Garchomp, you can go without Garchomp's ability. Persian is kind of okay too.
Yep.
And then Ninetales was the only problem. They couldn't have Hail to set up Aurora Veil. But then they were okay with that because they could just switch out Weezing if they wanted to set up Veil. And then I noticed a couple of Sunny Day techs on Garchomp and Persian, which is very interesting.
Yeah, their Poke base
They were
is very
affecting the
spicy.
rain mode. Yeah.
Spicy
But they never
Poke.
ended up clicking it. And then on the Tyrant's end, every time they switched out, they got punished by the Garchomp really heavily because they were able to snipe the Seismitoad and Tornadoes for free. Because their Magearna was so pressured and they could just keep going for Max Quake into that slot.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, it makes sense because they want to save the Komo for the Garchomp, right? But then,
Yeah.
you know, like, letting the Tornadoes go down, your only form of speed control, and that's such a waste. So super unfortunate.
Yeah.
And when Xerneas had the control of the dynamics of Garchomp, they played it so well, and they like used all 3 turns of dynamics very, very wisely, and that just
Yep.
like skyrocketed the momentum heavily in their favor. Then for me, I have a few points. I think maybe what the Tyrunts could improve on is that it's now week 3, right? And then they've consistently brought Purloin, Togepi, and Charjabug, all their non-fully evolved mons, into team preview. And they're consistently benching like useful mons. So I thought maybe if like the Purloin or even both the Purloin Togepi could be Omasta and Bronzong, they will have more options, because they are currently like completely relying on Magearna and then maybe Seismitoad and Tyrantrum to do damage. And then Komodo this week is a physical set, so didn't do as much damage as they would have wanted. So I thought maybe bring Omasta or even Bronzong somewhere. Bronzong, if left unchecked, and then if Bronzong has the Levitate ability, they took out Entei turn 1, right? Then Bronzong is sort of free to just set up. He can also try like Iron Defense and Body Press. So yeah, like I don't know, maybe Tyrants just put a lot of faith in the Purloin and Togepi. And then I also think to round things out, they also sort of didn't really respect the Weezing. The Weezing really came in clutch for the Xerneas this week. Oh right, Weezing also helped against Bronzong because it blocks Levitate, yeah. So
Yeah.
you guys really
smart.
have to watch out for Weezing Garchomp. That's kind of cool.
And then from the Tyrants end, they had a good spot where they could max first, right? But then, like, they could max first in Tailwind, and then they made some surprising max move targets. I feel like they either had to just target down the Weezing so they could start getting +1s on the Magearna,
Correct.
or they had to just keep spamming Starfall into the Persian slot, right? Because nothing could switch into that well.
Yeah.
Instead, they went for, like, the Starfall on the wrong turn and then the Steel Spike on the wrong turn. Which I understand why they went for Steel Spike, right? Because of Garchomp, but then they were getting their max wasted and they didn't pick up any KOs. So I feel like either they had to just start KOing the player 1 slot, or they had to try to get rid of Weezing as soon as they could.
Yeah. I think like Aaron Zhang likes to say, this is a case of putting all your eggs in the Magearna basket, right? So
Yeah.
like fully committing to just one strategy might not be enough. You got to be flexible, like sort of like displayed by the Xerneas, being flexible, like switching around, trying to get back into a good position. I think that could be a better strategy to learn and move forward from. Then yeah, so all of Xerneas mons. Yeah, so I was thinking maybe Tyrants could trust more of their mons to help do more damage instead of just the Magearna.
Yeah. They did well at the start of the game, right? Because their Tyrantrum just got rid of Entei right away, which is a big threat. But then they didn't really capitalize on it at all, so that was too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's it for game 5. Shoutouts to your nicknames. Tyrants, I think you guys have been busy with school, right? So your nicknames haven't changed. But the Xerneas nicknames, in case even I don't know, but these are turns in Formula 1. Currently there's a race in some place, I don't even know where this place is, Italy. Then these are the names of turns. Casino, Portier, it's in Monaco. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and Asada is a big F1 fan, so not bad.
Nice.
Like the nicknames certainly look cool. Like so, I think the Invincible nicknames also look super cool. Okay.
I feel like when you look at these nicknames, you just think of like a hotel or something.
Yeah, true. No, they really look like hotel theme. Okay, so that's it for all the roles group teams. So congratulations to Martin Solrock, then Primarinas and Malcolm and Omanytes and also Xerneas for your wins this week, and very commanding performance from Xerneas, Omanytes and Primarinas, because you guys are currently 3-0. So keep it up. Things are gonna just get tougher now. Somebody is definitely gonna lose somewhere because some of the trio teams might face each other. Yeah. Anything else to say from anything else to add for the Rose group?
Not really. The winners played very well, and then, the losing teams, they have stuff they can improve on, but they also did a lot of stuff that was pretty good this week. They just didn't do enough to fully get the win out of it.
Yeah, but overall, just very commanding games from the Rose group. Yeah. Wait, what's Lemmy saying? Solrock's not Omaha. 3-0. I think I must have missed out something.
I guess you said Omaha is 3-0, right?
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Solrocks. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because Solrocks, they are the first to draft. And then they drafted quite a weird team, but seems to pull through. And then they use Rillaboom and Hitmonlee quite well. I have a soft spot for Hitmonlee because I won the previous draft league with Hitmonlee. Yeah. Okay, so now we move on to Peony Group. Oh, okay, now it's your turn. Oh man, this match. Man, it's a heartbreak to watch this match.
Yeah, this was too bad. Just right away on turn 1, they went for a really big play on the Torterra's end, but it didn't quite pay off. So the leads was Moltres Articuno for Shellder, and then Crocodile Primarina for Torterra. And then the turn 1, Primarina Aqua Jets the Crocodile to activate the weakness policy, and they rockfalled the Moltres, who also maxed turn 1, but they almost KO'd, not quite enough, and they activated the Moltres weakness policy. Articuno did a freeze dry into Primarina, and the Airstream double up KO'd the Primarina. Turn 2, the Umbreon came in for Torterra, and then Articuno switched out into Groudon for Shellder, and Moltres KOs the Crocodile with the Airstream at full health, even max because of the +3, and Umbreon can just only go for a Snarl. Turn 3, Gothitelle comes in for Torterra and protects. Moltres hits it with a Darkness, and Groudon Swords Dances, and then Umbreon yawns the Moltres. Turn 4, Umbreon Baby Doll Eyes into Groudon, Moltres Fury Wrath KOs Gothitelle, and Groudon Precipice Blades nearly KOs the Umbreon. Turn 5, the Umbreon goes for another Baby Doll Eyes, so it's back down to neutral, and they Fire Punch the Celesteela who came in, which took a lot of damage, and then they leech cheated the Groudon, but it was just too late. And the left slot for Torterra got wiped out. So that leaves only Umbreon on low health and Drampa, who are both KO'd by the Moltres. And Drampa actually just about survived after the Snarls.
Yeah.
The Fury Wrath.
On the last turn, the Miltank went for Helping Hand Moltres Fury Wrath. And then Drampa survived on 10 HP. And then Drampa tried
Blizzard
to go for Blizzard in Sun. In Sun it's 50% accurate, and he missed both. So they didn't even catch a break. They couldn't even take the KO on the Moltres. On hindsight, I would have thought the Celesteela might want to just go for the free KO onto Moltres, right? Instead of going for the Leech Seed on Groudon. So it was a missed opportunity, and then that cost them, and they got wiped 6-0, which brings Shellder's points way so high, skyrocketed, so that Shellder actually overtook the teams with 3-0 score. But then I still have to put Shellder below because you guys have a 2-1 score, and then the wins come first, followed by the differential. So it's very awkward. You will see in the leaderboard 7 something something, then 8. Yeah. So, man, yeah, it's very, very unfortunate. And then I'm also quite sorry to the four players from both teams. I mean, Shellder even brought their third player to come in and help because they actually took, I'm not kidding, they took 1 hour. So the amount of time that we started the stream until now is the amount of time they took to find each other. That's crazy. That's just unfortunate. They were all connected. They did everything correct. It's just the system. So to everyone who's watching at this point, I think I'll put a timestamp here somewhere. This is my solution, because I think it worked for my team. You guys can watch my YouTube video. I made like my latest draft league match. I made a montage of us searching all different codes and then failing, and then finally being able to connect. So I think you search first, then give yourselves 3 to 5 minutes. Just set a timer. Once that 3 minutes goes up, then search another code. Then if the second code fails, everyone, all 4 players restart your game, because I think that soft locks, like reboots the connectivity or like the server for searching. Then search again. Yeah, I think then if that fails again, then just try and repeat. So search 2 codes, then everybody restart and reconnect to the internet. So just be polite with each other. Always remind each other to select multi-battle. That's the first thing. And then also remind each other to connect to the internet, because Tim was just so flustered on stream, and then at one point he forgot to connect to the internet. The Ycom is still white color, and then Kaizen had to shout out and say, hey, you're not connected to the internet. So yeah, just be patient with the system. So far we have 3 weeks, and then we have almost 30 matches played, and then everything has been successful. So you just have to give the system some faith. Yeah, and then follow these steps. Find one code, find another code, then everybody restart. Yeah. Evan the technician. Yeah. Thanks. I have a lot of experience in this.
IT man.
But it's just this stupid system of like searching
on Ycom, it just sucks.
On Ycom. Cause doing raids is so easy. I think I really believe like they use a different server for multi-battle, so we got a short end of the stick. Yeah, sad life. Then okay, so back to this match. Here are my notes. Where am I? Like, I feel like the Torterra has such a scary team and very, very strong with so many options for very good speed control. However, they decide to max something like Crocodile that doesn't offer good speed control options. Sure, like Crocodile can max strike, right? But then it's still not doing step damage and not doing enough. So, and then look at the mons that they benched this week. Cinderace, Celebi is naturally very bulky. Then, I mean Luxio doesn't really help here because there's not much to intimidate, only the Groudon. But Cinderace, I think Cinderace could have been a pretty decent answer for Moltres, right? Like if you try and match air streams, then maybe give Cinderace an AV, then probably, then even like with Umbreon on the field on turn 1, then you can always slow down that Moltres and then always maintain your speed control. Then even Celesteela could have maxed on turn 1 as well, so very missed opportunity, going straight for something not, like to me not the most reliable, right? Like turn 1 Aqua Jet into a not very fast Crocodile that is also not the most bulky mon out there, and then failing to just kill the Moltres. I feel like there's, and also I went to go and check the calcs, because if Moltres is 252 HP, which is quite common, right, on Picalytics, then that Crocodile, even with Adamant, can never kill the Moltres. It's always a 2-hit KO. So I think like maybe they just have to change some perspectives and then not tunnel vision into a certain route. Like they really put all their eggs in the Crocodile basket and it didn't pay off.
Yeah, they just miscalculated the Crocodile thing, right?
Yeah, and then one more small thing for the Torterras to, like, this is my advice. I feel like sometimes Gothitelle setting up Trick Room as the only means of speed control for your team is not safe, because there are quite a lot of like Ghost and Dark Mons drafted, and Gothitelle is always in trouble, and then Thorn is always everywhere. Gothitelle cannot, like the best thing that Gothitelle does is trap. Like Gothitelle cannot it's not a reliable mon to set Trick Room. So yeah, like I think you guys have to try to go fast sometimes instead of always trying your best to go slow and bulky. Like you can see the remaining mons for this week, Drampa, Umbreon, Gothitelle, Celesteela, all slow. Then they all fall prey to Moltres, Eleki, and then like Groudon, as long as the Moltres gives the Groudon a +1 speed, then that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, even Leafeon. They were talking about how they were scared of Leafeon, but yet again they maxed Crocodile right on turn 1.
Yeah. Do you see this in my notes? Like,
Yeah.
leading Crocodile Prim into a potential Leafeon Groudon is bonkers. What? Like maybe they want to rely on the Drampa switch in, right? To get Cloud 9, but Crocodile is just not enough. Leafeon's defense is so high. I really don't see how like the weakness policy Crocodile strategy can even play out. Yeah.
They just miscalculated, right? Because I guess they thought they would Oko the Moltres, but then like it was good that they outsped the Moltres, but then if you can't KO it and you just activate the weakness policy for them, then that's how they just swept through really quickly. I think they were pretty unfortunate to not be able to take a KO though, still. So the 6-0s maybe like not fully deserved on their end, but also they didn't do enough to win.
Yeah. Very, very sad. So man, yeah, so it's quite heartbreaking to see a very solid, very good team, like come 3-0 in week 3. But then I just want to say that this is absolutely not the end. Anything can happen because we have seen this legend of a girl called Sierra Dawn. She went 0-4, and she never gave up. And then she just proceeded to win every other week after that. Who did she win? Did she win Wolf? Right? No, she didn't win Wolf.
I think it was.
It was Wolf, right? She won Wolf.
Yeah.
Like in the late later weeks of the regular season, that was insane. And then she tried her best and then kept practicing, kept trying, right? And she finally made it into playoffs from a 0-4 record. It's even worse than this current 0-3 record. So yeah, I just want to tell everyone who is at 0-3 or like maybe on the verge of giving up to not give up. We still have 4 weeks ahead. No, we still have 5 weeks ahead of us. So try your best. Just win these next 5 matches, and you should be quite guaranteed to be in the top 4 of your group.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
You can definitely still win every match, but then even if you don't, I think you can take it as a learning experience, right? You can just do better the next time. Keep playing out your games. Try different stuff. You can learn what works and what doesn't work for your team, and then do better in the future.
Yep. Man, this was so heartbreaking to watch. Yeah. Like there are some things where like maybe if you play chess and then there's this there are some chess moves that you can checkmate in 7 turns, and then it's coming, right? But you can't avoid it. Man, it just feels so sad to be on the losing end. Yeah. So
Torterra was just too crushed by the turn 1. They could have taken KO, but then they were like, I think flustered is the right word, right? They were just,
true.
Oh, we didn't KO the Moltres, like I'm not sure what to do now. So
yeah. So yeah, keep trying, never give up. And let's see better matches in the weeks to come. So that was game 6. Now we're on to game 7. Hey, that's my match. Oh, so just nice I get to cover mine, you get to cover yours.
Yeah, there you go.
This is a totally new format. Yeah, God, well said. There's a lot to learn from this new meta, which is why I'm so excited to always come and do like recaps, because there's so much to learn. I think maybe because I'm sort of relaying the information, so a lot of the learning comes to me. I just feel like I really learn a lot, and I really like this meta. It's so fun. Like multi-battles is extremely fun. So here's the
people have already learned a lot from the exhibition.
True. Okay, so here's the play-by-play for my match versus Team OC, the angry team. If you can see their team logo. So this is another case for something I feel like you do careless on turn 1 and then it snowballs and it's very difficult to recover from. Cause they led with Excadrill Salamence. I kind of got the sort of a vague idea why they led with Salamence, because I think Salamence is the only mon that can do damage into Skarmory with Heat Wave, because Salamence is special this week. So they let Excadrill Salamence into Milotic Skarmory. I'm really appreciating the Milotic Skarmory because Milotic protects Skarmory with Max Geyser, and then they don't want to lower our stats, right? Because you always keep giving Milotic special defense. Always keep giving Milotic a competitive boost, special attack. Then Skarmory can just sit here and boost up because I won't expect something like a Max Phantasm to lower Skarmory's defense, which means Skarmory's body press is always going to do maximum damage. So on turn 1, since Milo got the free boost, I put the plug, I just Dynamax Milo. And then every mon from his team doesn't take a Max Geyser well. So I decided to Max Geyser into the Salamence in case it switches into Tita or Calyrex Ice. Then Salamence just went for the Heat Wave, doing more than half to Skarmory, and then our Skarmory got off 1 Iron Defense. Then, however, Excadrill hard switched into Drapion. So we didn't Geyser into that slot, we Geyser into the Salamence slot. But this might be a clue that Excadrill is not Sash, and then it turns out after that Excadrill is Life Orb. So we could have Geyser into the Excadrill slot and easily snipe the Drapion, but we tried to cover for all our options. Then the Salamence opts to stay in and try to Heat Wave again, trying to pick off the Skarmory, but then we protected Skarmory. So we used Milotic to Geyser into the Salamence because there's no switching to Geyser in Rain, and then we KO the Salamence. Then Drapion went for knockoff onto Milo, doing decent damage, but not a convincing 2-hit KO, so Milo still at 1 more turn of max. Then the Calyrex comes in for the Salamence. We were so tempted to Geyser that Calyrex slot, but then the Gogai slot seems easier to target, so we Geyser into the Drapion slot. But then they did a double switch, so they switched Calyrex into Tita and then Drapion into Gogais. So our Geyser didn't kill the Gogais, but more importantly, Skarmory roosts. And then all the health that they they did with Heat Wave, right, just recovered back to full, Skarmory was full with leftovers. That was so cool to see. And then at the same time we Geysered the Gogai, so there's no more weather for Tita that switched in. So now Milotic easily threatens both mons with Muddy Water. That's insane. But unfortunately we didn't bring Muddy Water. We brought Hydro Pump because I wanted the max move to do as much damage as possible. So we Hydro Pump and thankfully it connected 80% into the Gogais to deny Trick Room. And then our Skarmory, since Tita cannot touch us, we went for 1 more Iron Defense, and then Hakim's words is that second Iron Defense sealed the deal. Because there's nothing the opponent can do to do damage into Skarmory. So Tyranitar went for Rock Slide and it doesn't KO the Milotic. Then on that turn, Tita couldn't max. So Tita is also in huge trouble, right? Because the body press can easily go that way. But then and then the Gogais died, so the Drapion came in. So the Drapion killed Milo, and then the Tita hard switched into Calyrex. And then the Skarmory KOs Drapion with body press. Very impressive damage. I mean, it surely kills. Then I felt like that was a good switch into Calyrex because they counted their max turns correct, and on the next turn, Calyrex comes in with full HP, and it is the time for Calyrex to max. So our Milo went down, we switched in Sandaconda because I didn't want Mushana to just go down like that. And then our Sandaconda had a secret tag. Our Sandaconda has Sash. Nobody will expect Sash. So we thought they're just gonna, Excadrill is gonna do something, and then the Calyrex is gonna steal Hailstorm into our Sandaconda and not get the boost. But Excadrill smartly went for Rock Slide. I think that was the safer option to fish for flinches. Then the Calyrex just KO'd the Sandaconda, and instantly Calyrex is now at +3. So we were down to our last mon, Mushana, and then we felt like the best thing to do was protect. But then they read the protect, and then they Hailstorm into the +4. So it was a +3 step Hailstorm into +4 max defense Skarmory, and it did less than 50%. Then I laughed. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that was the damage that that was the most Calyrex could do. So after that we just started to body press everything, and then we also discovered that Skarmory, even with my Skarmory is decent speed EVs because I caught it in the wild. I just wanted the Mug, the Star Scream, the Cloud Watcher. Then and we were faster than the Calyrex. I mean, I guess that's natural, right? Because the base speed is 70. Yeah, but I was quite surprised. So all we had to do was body press the Calyrex. Then on that turn, we were discussing whether to because with the hail chip, then Skarmory is down to half. So another hailstorm should kill Skarmory. So Hakim and I were debating like whether to go for Roost or another body press just to chip the Calyrex and then let our Mushana just go down, just let it succumb to fate. But then Hakim on the last minute clicked body press because he knew that there's like you can see on the screen, there's Victini and Dracovish left in the back. So they are always faster than Calyrex or Tita. They can easily take the kill, so you just have to click damage. Then Team OC went for the big boy play. They went to Quake into Skarmory, predicting us to Roost. Yeah, so wow, that was huge. So Skarmory didn't take any damage at all. And then Mushana, we could go for the free we didn't go for Trick Room because we didn't have to. So and the thing is we didn't bring Trick Room. So we went for Reflect, and then that helped us a lot. But the Reflect wasn't even needed because Skarmory's body press just killed everyone. So good job to our C tier pickup getting 4 kills. We were very surprised by that. Oh yeah, I'll post this on YouTube. Yeah, thanks for helping me reply, guys.
Yeah.
The Salaman's not hot. I was definitely wondering how Skarmory got so many KOs, but now it makes sense. So that was the story. So
Yeah.
what I think just like I feel like maybe they could have found a better way to deal with Skarmory. I can think of certain ways, but then sometimes if you're not used to the team, and you don't know a lot of the strange text, then maybe it's difficult to find out. But yeah, I just think that leading Salamence is not a good idea because we have potentially a Wigglytuff in team preview, and Wigglytuff could also have competitive, so I felt like leading Salamence was quite careless.
Yeah, I think they were just too scared of Dracovish with their Excadrill.
Oh, true.
It was very well played on your guys' end though. But then your Sandaconda went for a Rock Blast into the Max Calyrex and just gave them a free weakness policy.
Yeah.
And then they only hit twice.
Yes, that's so unfortunate. Like if the Rock Blast could hit 5 times and then we were max attack adamant, then the body press could have been a 2-hit KO instead of a 3-hit KO. So seeing that 2 Rock Blast and the weakness policy proc, like it really made me panic because my slot was just Sandaconda and Mushana left. Then I was fearing for both of them to go down. Then I don't know. I didn't know whether Skarmory had enough in itself, right, to clean up the game. But I underestimated Skarmory clearly, and then I'm so proud of the Skarmory this week. It did so well.
Yeah, Sandaconda might have to ride the bench next week, right, for hitting twice.
Yeah.
And then, like, once you KO Drapion and Salamence, they had really nothing left for Skarmory. They could only hope to crit, and then, like, that really big call when they max Quake the Skarmory, right, predicting the Roost.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if that KOs, but then that was, like, probably their only out, and they didn't quite get it right, but I respect them for going for that play.
Yeah, me too. I really respected them for doing that. It was very cool and also very entertaining on stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was quite a clean win and we are very happy with it. So okay, that was game 7. Let's move on to game 8. 2 more games to go. So here we have Rapidazz versus Team Pocket Rocket. Yes, I feel like it's just a close call for Team Pocket Rocket, and they were just simply outplayed by Rapidazz, and I just think that if you can see on the screen, the Rapidazz slot, Kingdra, Zacian and Landorus is very evil. It's just so evil because like I wouldn't dare to max Wormwind the Kingdra because you can easily switch in Zacian, right? I also wouldn't dare to max Quick the Kingdra because you can easily switch in Landorus. Then to make matters worse, you can see at the bottom, right, the 4th slot in player 1, their player 1 hasn't changed, for 3 weeks. It's always Zacian, Kingdra, Landorus, Ditto. The worst thing is, what if the Ditto like swaps into something useful from your end, right? So this is something that future opponents of the Rapidazz really need to rack their brains to try and overcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
This is
sorry.
super tough lead,
Hmm,
just in general. Like they've been going for this Kingdra Gothorita thing like almost every time, and just so hard. It's like really killer because they could just freely switch in Polytoad.
correct.
The other side can't switch out. They have to lead correctly, and then they have to also cover for Zacian at the same time.
Yeah.
Like you could get trapped in front of a Zacian, right? Or you could get trapped in front of a Kingdra, and you have to cancel. Not a. You have to cover both of them.
Yeah. Okay.
So
What do you have?
yeah, recap for this game. The Kingdra Gothorita lead, and then it was against a Dragonite and a Hitmonchan. So the turn 1, the Gothorita switched out into Polytoad, and the Kingdra and the Dragonite both Dynamax. The Kingdra activates the Dragonite weakness policy with Wormwind, and then Hitmonchan gives it a coaching boost, and then Dragonite KOs the Polytoad with an Airstream. Turn 2, Gothorita helping hands a Kingdra, who KOs Dragonite with Wormwind, and then Hitmonchan clicks Fake Out, which possibly was
Timeout.
like a misinput. Turn
Yeah.
3, Steelix comes in for Pocket Rocket, and the Kingdra takes it down to Sturdy for Max Geyser, so 1 HP, and coaching into High Horsepower crit Gothorita is not even enough to KO.
Oh.
Turn 4, Gothorita protects against Hitmonchan's Mach Punch, and Steelix dies to Liquidation from Kingdra, so it's physical. Venusaur comes in for the Pocket Rocket, Mach Punch from Hitmonchan doesn't KO Kingdra, and Outrage KOs Venusaur. And then from there, the right slide is by itself, and Kingdra KOs the Hitmonchan, Gothorita KOs the Ninetales, and Landorus KOs the Porygon.
Ninetales
Yeah.
didn't KO Kingdra.
Kingdra KO'd Kingdra. Too right.
Oh yeah, right. That's fine.
Well, I guess they just...
Yeah, let's just give Ninetales the free kill.
Yeah. So a couple key points from the game. The Airstream from the Dragonite wasn't enough to gain speed control against the Kingdra, and perhaps they weren't expecting the Polytoad switch, they just wanted to get rid of Gothorita.
Yeah.
And then I understand from their end why they didn't Wormwind because of the Zacian switching, but I think that was a play that they had to make.
Yeah, I was thinking it through, you know. Like even if they went for turn 1 Wormwind into the Zacian, I think that's still fine, because what you get is, although you don't do damage, like then maybe the Gothorita goes for Trick Room or something, right? Doesn't matter, because you get a +1 attack and +1 defense, so that makes you strong against the Zacian. Then you should have another coverage move for Zacian, and then you could hit Zacian maybe with like Airstream or something. Then Hitmonchan also has the opportunity to go for one more coaching. So maybe if, like a lot of people are saying, they say in chat during the stream, if the Dragonite went for Wormwind into Kingdra, then I think that might be game over. Yeah, but unfortunately that didn't play out, and I just think that the Rapidazz are just too evil. Ah, what a crazy team.
It was just based on the way it played out. Like, if Kingdra switched out, then they went to their Wormwind, but the Kingdra went for Wormwind, activated the policy, and they got a coaching boost, so that would have KO'd the Kingdra. And then for Pocket Rocket's team, I'm surprised they didn't use Rotom Wash at all.
Yeah.
And their Hitmon lead, like their Hitmonchan lead didn't quite do enough because the Fake Out turn 2, I think it was a misinput, right?
Yeah, I think it was a timeout.
Yeah, something like that. But then, like, even the coaching boost, their Dragonite was just going down turn 2 anyway because they didn't have enough speed control against the rain.
Yeah, and unfortunately, and it's so interesting that in the end the Kingdra was revealed to be physical. So if they just like Hail Mary, they just went for like Dragonite Protect and then one more coaching, maybe the Dragonite could survive something from the Kingdra, right? Yeah, so quite unfortunate. Then I think that one thing that Team Pocket Rocket did strange was, you can see this Colossal, the Colossal was in the player 1 slot. So like, it immediately eliminates like the potential Dragonite Colossal strategy. So that was quite strange. And then Rapidazz immediately caught on, and then they weren't afraid of Colossal at all. Yeah, Colossal I feel like might be an interesting way to deal with Kingdra, because if you can Aqua Jet and Vocalief, I've seen the damage. You can try and force Kingdra to only have one turn of Dynamax. You know, if the Kingdra has Life Orb, then one turn of Vocalief should kill the Kingdra. But unfortunately, Team Pocket Rocket didn't opt for that option.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think they were just trying to go for like a Sun game plan, but then from their lead, and then they were trapped in because of Gothorita, they struggled to ever
Yeah,
get
especially
their
yeah.
Sun next to each other.
So trapping the Hitmonchan was detrimental to the to Rocket's side.
Yeah.
But in the end,
They're
they managed to do take some surprise KOs with Scarf Ninetales, so that was pretty cool. And then so unfortunate, like with such a strong team, Rapidazz couldn't maintain their lead, and then they only got a 3-0 differential this week. So I think going further, they still have to work very hard to get the points. Maybe it might be towards the end it might be a struggle for top 4, and then sometimes these differential points could come into handy for certain teams.
I think they can be happy with 3-0 though. This is quite a hard team to play against.
That's true. Yeah. Then I just have a few gripes, like, man, the Relicanth and Shinotic, I think they made the bench very warm already. They should come into the match sometimes. Spice things up. Yeah, but then every time on Setsuku's stream, the Relicanth and the Shinotic are always in the middle. Like,
yeah, they're just sitting there.
Yeah, so sad. This Relicanth, he needs to get some action. He needs to go out and play. Then some things to note also, like Team Pocket Rocket left behind the Tweki mode, but the Tweki seems to be quite strong, right, against something like Politoed, Kingdra, even Landorus. Yeah, so I don't know why like Tweki set out. You could even like help Venusaur boost the damage output. So
yeah,
interesting.
I wasn't thinking about Thwacky as much. I was thinking about Rotom Wash just because of the natural bulk and the not quite type advantage, but
Wait a sec, that's true, right? Like, what does Rapidazz have to hit Rotom super effective? Not much. Nothing. Yeah, they needed like an electric move somewhere. Yeah. I don't know who has a grass move. Yeah, that's quite strange. Missed opportunity, I guess.
Playing against Thievul Thwacky. Oh, that would have been an interesting lead.
That's why we use physical Kingdra. I don't understand. Like, why do you... Oh, because Tweki can snarl. Because Tweki can snarl.
Yeah. Not Thwacky.
That's Thievul, yeah. Thievul can snarl. Yeah. Very cheesy though. Like, then there was one turn, they just YOLO. YOLO, Helping Hand, Outrage, and then pray that you hit the correct target. And then it just happens they kill the Venusaur. Very important KO. And, lucky. Fast snarl. But Thievul can also go for fast butting shot. That's quite cool. Yeah. Oh well. So congrats to Rapidazz with yet another commanding lead, propelling them to 3-0 in the Peony group. So let's move on to our last match. Yeah. So this is the match that had the most back and forth. Finally, like all the 8 matches that we covered previously have, like, it seems to be very skewed, very one-sided, very commanding wins. This one was really back and forth and very well played on both sides' ends, and very unfortunate on Celebi's end. I think there were so many moves, like the odds were still in Yampers' favor. Like, it's just slightly, like 60% in Yampers' favor, but then Yampers managed to get that odds, and then Celebi just fell short. Yeah, like you can see the game went to timer, it's so close, it was a 2-1 win. So here's the breakdown. They led with, where am I? Zoroark, Melstick. But the Zoroark disguised as Charizard. So it seems like a Charizard Melstick lead versus Ludicolo Palkia. I think Ludicolo Palkia is such a good lead. Ludicolo is a super good pickup from Celebi because they dropped Torterra. Then if Palkia goes for Geyser, Ludicolo will always be able to move first in the next turn. So easily they went into Geyser on the Zoroark slot because the only water resist is Tangrowth, right? Then everything on the Zoroark Charizard Bolton slot dies to Geyser. So all they did was Geyser, but the Charizard went for Snarl, and then NJ was just too tired because he had a very busy week, and also running like the little cup, right? on the weekend. So he just acknowledged, on stream he said, "Oh, Charizard goes for Snarl. Wow, Charizard has Snarl." Then they didn't even realize anything until Palkia Mike's Geyser and then kills the Solrock, breaking the illusion. Then in next turn, Ludicolo easily threatens damage with speed in rain. So Bolton switches in for the Charizard, which is Sus, which is a Zorrock. Then Bolton went for Protect, very smart move, and Melstick went for Light Screen because they knew Palkia just had to spam Geyser on that slot. Even if it's at -1 in rain, it's still doing crazy amount of damage. Then Ludicolo went for Muddy Water, so it did chip damage into Melstick, safe behind the Light Screen. Then Melstick hard switches into Tangrowth. Ludicolo went for another Muddy Water. It doesn't KO the Bolton, it brings it down to 30%, but it crits the Tangrowth and very importantly lowers the accuracy. So now I went to do the calc. Sleep Powder, instead of 75% accurate, is now 56% accurate. Then Bolton easily outspeeds Palkia. Bolton gets the Eerie Impulse off. Now Palkia is at -3 special attack, but the Max Geyser still takes out the Bolton. So now Charizard is left on that slot. Charizard is forced to switch in, and it's not Charizard's turn to max yet. So Charizard was forced to protect, and then Palkia ends the max. So Palkia realistically can't stay in and then do a water move. So Palkia hard switch into Klefki, and then Ludicolo, correctly predicting the Charizard protect, knocks off into the Tangrowth. Just nice, knocking off the Citrus Berry, putting Tangrowth just under half health, and then but Tangrowth just went for the Hail Mary Sleep Powder, 56%, and he got the Sleep Powder off into Klefki. So unfortunate. Then Klefki had to take one turn of sleep, right? He couldn't set up screens, and then now on turn 5 it's Charizard's turn to max. So easily Charizard just max max Airstream, taking out the Ludicolo, the best answer, one of the best answers to Charizard. Then the Tangrowth hard switch into Escavalier. So Charizard gave Escavalier a +1 speed, and then Klefki took the first turn of sleep. And Ludicolo, in rain, they just accepted the fact that it's going to go down. So it just went for Muddy Water and it misses onto the Charizard. That is so unfortunate. So this Ludicolo just didn't do well for the team that day. Then Melmetal switches in because that slot was left with Melmetal and Comfy. NJ's idea was to, not NJ, like Celebi's idea was to use the Melmetal to bait Wildfire, switching the Melmetal into Comfy to take it, and then try to hope for Klefki to wake up. But Klefki took the second turn of sleep. That's over odds, so quite sad. Then Comfy eats the Wildfire handily because they are still in rain. Then Klefki takes 50% from Iron Head from Escavalier without screens, right? So Escavalier was very strong. So on the next turn, Klefki finally wakes up and then light screens. Then Comfy went for Floral Healing to heal Klefki back to full. Then Charizard takes the obvious KO on Comfy, and because all they need to do is Wildfire that slot with the Melmetal. Then another unfortunate event, Escavalier's Iron Head crits the Klefki, taking it down to 5%, and then to the 15%. Then with the Wildfire chip, Klefki finally survives at 5%, but that's just way too much health. So Klefki went for Reflect, accepting that it's going to go down. The Melmetal came in. Melmetal is AV. It takes the Charizard's Heat Wave. Just nice the sun was out. The rain was over. Then Melmetal revenge KOs with Thunder Punch. So that slot is gone. Melmetal slot is also going to be gone because Escavalier went for Close Combat and it only does 30% to Melmetal, and Melmetal survives the turn. But even with the Wildfire chip, it still survived. But then the next turn is definitely going down to Wildfire. Then very interestingly, then the Klefki went down to Wildfire. So on the next turn, Palkia switch in with Melmetal. So that's quite a lot of offensive pressure. And then Celebi hasn't revealed. Palkia has Fire Blast. So they went for Fire Blast into the Escavalier that smartly switched out into Melstick. So they went for Fire Blast and Darkest Lariat, and they finally took a KO on the Melstick side. So Melstick is left with Escavalier and Tangrowth. And Tangrowth doesn't have a very good special defense stat. So, man, they could have just keep spamming like Fire Blast, trust in that 85% accuracy, but they decided to save Palkia for Escavalier. So the Palkia hard switches into Klefki, and then hard switches into Kangaskhan, and then all Tangrowth needs to do is Sleep Powder, right? At the same time, Tangrowth switched in and then it got a little bit more health, so Tangrowth revealed itself to be Regenerator, which is quite tricky for Celebi's end. So the Tangrowth protects from Kangaskhan's Fake Out. Kangaskhan's running the same set with Fake Out Last Resort. Then they smartly switch the Tangrowth back into Escavalier to take the Last Resort. And then we finally see Escavalier with Rocky Helmet. What the heck? So unfortunately, like Kangaskhan had to go down. Then they couldn't seal the game because the timer went up, and then Kangaskhan just took too much health. Because realistically, they could just keep switching Tangrowth with Escavalier like a singles match, and then Celebi is just gonna keep taking damage from Rocky Helmet. Yeah. Wait, did I mention the nicknames on the previous team? Oh yeah, Rapidazz nicknames were Chinese characters. I think they are like elements, which don't really correspond with their mons. Okay, so yeah, back to this. I felt like if Celebi just spammed Fire Blast, they would have won the game. So very, very unfortunate. Like even with trying to tide through all the hacks, they still didn't pull through. And I think Yampers just went for their way out, and they got it. So still good plays on the Yampers end. Oh, by the way, Yampers, like their nicknames were regular mons, but I decided to make things spicy because NJ, like these two teams are from Yampers are the mods of the Little Cup Discord, and then Celebi are the hosts of the Little Cup Discord. So it's sort of a match. And then they wanted to come into the match with Cheese, but I think they came with very, very standard sets. But it's quite interesting to see Cheese nicknames. So cute, right? Okay, sorry I cut you off. What points do you have for this match?
I thought this one was really well played on both ends, right? Like the Solrock disguised as Charizard turned 1, and then it was super threatening because they had Meowstic next to it, so they could Sunny Day and then Max Charizard, but in the end it turned out to be the imposters, so they just went for Snarl, which was very strong. And then they did pretty well to stall the Palkia Max with the Eerie Impulse and the Protect on Bolton, but Celebi still were able to pick up 2 KOs with the Palkia and then switch out. And then they made a really good call to not take what seemed like a free Muddy Water onto Charizard when they couldn't max because the Charizard protected, so they just decided to go for knockoff into the Tangrowth, which is good to get rid of that berry. And then the Yampers just preserved their max pretty well. And like Celebi's had some stuff in the back, like the Melmetal, right? It was super tanky. It was able to take a Heat Wave and a close combat and KO the Charizard, but the Charizard was just able to do too much damage to them. And then the Comfey and Klefki were like trying to stall out the Charizard max, but it was just a bit too passive. And then the Wildfire Chip and the pretty fortunate crit meant that those two were like going down.
Yeah.
And then the Yampers were in the end game. They forced a pretty nice like weird speed interaction for the Celebis because they had Palkia and Melmetal in the back, which were like kind of middle, or like Melmetal's very slow. And then they had Escavalier to cover like as a slow mode, and then Charizard as a fast mode. So like Comfey couldn't really want to go for Trick Room in that situation. And then just Wildfire Chip came through for the Yampers in the end, and then they did super well to stall out the end game because it looked like Celebi was almost about to come back, right? But they just got it right at the end where they could protect their Escavalier on the switch, and they had 2 mons versus the Palkia, and that was it.
Yeah, I feel like the one thing I learned from this match is, you know, in regular VGC, the residual damage from G-Max moves are very prevalent, right? From Venusaur, Vinelash, Colossal, Vocalith, Charizard. Even Blastoise is getting a lot of usage now with Cannonade. That's super useful, especially in a 4v4 VGC match. But over here, in 6v6, I think turn 1 max might not be the best idea. And then here we have an example of Yampers coming in with a turn 4 or turn 5 max. And then like using their previous mons to just help do a bit of damage at the beginning. Then coming with a mid-game max with residual damage, wow, that really hurt the Celebi a lot. So I thought that's a very interesting strategy that, you know, if you guys have these mons, actually it's just Team Pocket Rocket with the Venusaur and Colossal, I think they could come up with this mid-game strategy. You have the your leads to try and disrupt, and then you come in the mid-game and just do that cheap damage when your opponent's max ended. Then man, then you can easily try and reverse sweep and take as many KOs as possible, you know, because you really need to take a maximum of like 6 KOs to win the game, right? So I really thought the mid-game Wildfire, that was crazy. That was very well played on the Yampers end.
Yeah, they did just enough chip in the beginning of the game and then stalled out the max so that they could get the Wildfire off and then pick up KOs like that.
So yeah, I think this is also a very good match to watch, and really I can't mention this enough, but shoutouts to NJ for always filming his matches with just a phone. Yeah. So wow, yeah, that's the end of all our matches. Oh, just nice, we took 2 hours again. Then really thanks to everyone, because finally we have a week where all matches are streamed or recorded. So super nice to have everything, and then also helps us to give you guys a very in-depth coverage of how each game went out. And also, like, you know, everyone can learn from everybody's matches, right? How like certain strategies can play out well, how certain strategies, to me, like Trick Room, early game Trick Room, doesn't really work well because the opponent can easily Dynamax, like we saw in the Genesect game. And then how certain strategies like late game Wildfire really can pull through for your team. Whew, that was a mouthful. Oh, but that was fun. Nice. Good job. Good job, both of us.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Good job. Good job. Let's go.
Oh. Definitely faster to watch all matches. Hey, are you kidding? I mean, maybe it takes the same amount of time. But we don't get this wonderful Evan insight. Oh, thanks, Kiers.
2 hours though? I think it's about the same.
Yeah.
And then it's just preference if you want to hear Evan with his beautiful analysis, or if you want to just hear like whatever the people are saying in the game.
True. But I feel like there's really a lot
to watch the VODs also. You should watch the VODs. Definitely worth it.
True. I feel like there's just a lot to learn. Yeah, and I had this revelation that I tried to explain to you, but it didn't really work out. Right? Like, yeah, I explained it in my YouTube video. So if you guys want to take the time and watch, it's at I believe it was in the concluding thoughts. I had this revelation of a very different strategy that it's very difficult to explain in multi-battle, but I think it can work out well if you are if your team is well prepared and bulky enough. I think, yeah, it's the concept of if it's this player's turn to Dynamax, attack into that slot. Don't attack the partner, because if you attack into the partner and kill it, they get a free switch on the next turn that they can Dynamax, and then they will get the full health, right, of that mon. So you just want to try and maintain your position as much as possible. Actually, now that I say it, it makes a bit of sense, right? Yeah, it's a concept of if it's that guy's turn to Dynamax, you attack that slot. Yeah, it's just a concept, but I'll just see if it can work out for myself down the road for my team.
Yeah. In this format, though, you don't want to just force yourself to do one thing because there's definitely situations where you want to target the partner instead.
True. Yeah. Sometimes it might be a easy KO. Sometimes you can find very easily exploitable weaknesses on that side. Like Puff Pass.
Yeah.
One slot with both mons weak to Ghost. Jeez. That's
Super
so
weak to
risky,
Ghost.
yeah.
In Dark.
Yeah. I think it was super weak to Ghost plus a Porygon, right?
No, the Porygon was on the other slot. It was Metagross, Mimikyu, Runerigas, and then they're all weak to
No, it was Porygon,
Ghost.
Yeah, it was Porygon. The player
Wait, it
one.
was Porygon?
Yeah, player one was Mimikyu, Metagross, Runerigas, Porygon. So yeah, but then again, Porygon itself.
But they never risked the Ghost movement to that slot. They just kept going for Darkness, so it's at least like neutral on Mimikyu and then super effective on the other two, and then neutral on Porygon.
Yeah, man, it's quite unfortunate. Oh yeah, since we're at it, barring those teams that didn't send in your post battle forms, so your Mons kills are not recorded as of now. Yeah, but then here we have the standings. So 6 teams are now 3-0. Very commanding performance thus far. So let's see if everyone can keep it up. But also to the teams below, you guys really have a lot of room to catch up. Oh, where's my... Yeah, so to these teams, yeah, keep fighting. And yeah, really just don't give up and keep fighting on. So the Rose team seems to be more like everyone has a sort of an even shot. Yeah. Except for Tyrunts. Tyrunts really need to buck up. Because all these have the same scores, you know, these 3 teams. So very interesting. Then
it's about the same records in both groups though, isn't it?
Similar,
and then just differential.
Yeah. I feel like the differential in Rose group is very vast. From first to last is 25 points. That's a lot of points. Yeah.
Man, I didn't realize.
Whereas for Peony is very even. I think the skill level is pretty even here. And then this is really the group of death, because every team in this group are really very strong. They have their merits, and we saw a lot of different facets of the team, of these teams performing very well. Like wow, Shellder this week, extremely commanding play with very common mons like Ileki. Ileki didn't even come. Moltres and Groudon. Yeah, very common back in Series 8. So moving on to the kill leaders. Congrats to Garchomp for matching Volcarona with kills. Interestingly, both were only led once. So most of the time it feels like a late game Dynamax. Then both were also only max once, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
It was just a ton of kills this week that got it for them.
Yeah, then I added the times max column for you guys. So you guys can catch your opponent's kind of like weakness. Like you can see, man, 3 for 3 Magearna Dynamax. Same goes for Kyogre. Maybe not Kyogre. Wait, where is the 3 for 3? Oh, let me review all of this for you guys. There are a few 3. Oh no, it was only Magearna. Yeah, it was only Magearna.
Differential is definitely important. Like you should worry more about winning the game, obviously, but then if there's some free like Mon you can save or some free KO you can take, you should definitely try.
True. Yeah, but quite a few.
I don't think there's anyone.
Yeah, it's only Magearna.
Magearna, yeah.
But there are quite a lot of two game Dynamaxes. Yeah. Which is very easy. Like these mons should be very common Dynamax targets. Yeah, like Blastoise, Kingdra also. Yeah. The only reason why Kingdra is not 3 for 3 is because in their second game, Rapidazz didn't have to max any mon. Yeah, and then I was thinking Volcanion is also on the verge of being a very common Dynamax target. Right, don't you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda. You know, we almost maxed the Decidueye this game. Very close.
Interesting.
It's like 50-50 we were thinking.
Nice. So yeah, oh wait.
We
Ah,
didn't leak
the
Kindra.
Puff Pass just submitted your
Nice.
where's Puff
Wait, where's
Pass?
Kingdra? They said they didn't lead Kingdra.
Kingdra was led how many times? I think twice, right?
Game 2, they didn't lead Kingdra.
Oh, let's go back and check.
Yeah, it was Landorus.
Yeah, week 2, right?
Yeah.
So Kingdra 2 times. Oh, how is this possible? Cause I did it based on the forms that you guys submitted. Yeah, like it's supposed to count how many times it says lead. Yeah, I'll go figure it out. Cause if you can see, oh, let me show you guys on the screen. I don't know. I had to learn a bit of. I had to learn a bit of Google Sheets for this. Look,
Yeah.
this is the formula. It's kind of strange. Yeah, even I don't really know how to explain it well. But I'll try and find out. Yeah, I'll try and find out.
It makes sense. Does it count the exhibition match on accident?
Oh yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It counted exhibition match, so I need to exclude it.
Yep.
Go Solrocks. Nice. Thanks for coming through, Keaton. Your streams are kind of entertaining because your draft had Chansey Shackle or something and Pinker Chin. Yeah, I saw a few of your matches.
Yeah.
I need to get my differential up. Yeah, I think you guys are really still in this for Guard and the Pokepals. See, once again, man, look at this. There was one week where both of them face each other, you know. So nice to see this on multi-battles, man. So cool.
Man, they're the wrong way
Boy.
around though.
I like to throw and talk smack, I see. But you guys really did well for this week. And I think it's really very good teamwork. Was it you and the Great Sleepy one, or was it you and Ted? Or I think I heard 3 voices from your call. So yeah, I think the Solrocks are really growing together as a team and working very well for our league. Sorry, Joe, I cut you off.
Now you're good.
Yeah, okay. One last thing I want to say is just thanks to everyone for playing our matches in time. Now, I'm so proud as a coordinator to see everything run smoothly all the way, and then now we are in week 4. Because after this week, it will be the halfway point for regular season. So it's just super exciting to see every match play out, and then it's really an honor from my part to like recap everything for you guys. Oh, and also,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and thanks Joe for always being so supportive and helping with this.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to everyone for playing really good matches this week, last week as well.